fly to a place where we will be. I'm smiling on the outside and I'm crying on the inside. So in love for all eternity, as we were always meant to be. Welcome, welcome in. Welcome. This is sort of an impromptu live. This is my husband, Greg.
Hey.
Say hi to the people,
What's up,
Greg.
everybody? Hey, people.
We're live. And we are talking about the Corporation for Public Broadcasting getting their funding cut and closing down. I am nothing short of devastated. I've been really actually kind of fighting back tears all morning long. Had someone reach out to me and kind of ask me what I thought was really going to happen. And I'm not even really sure
It feels
what
like
my answer to that would be yet.
To you.
It feels like a death. I think it feels like a death to a lot of people.
Almost like a person has been ripped away from you, and you almost knew that they were in danger of leaving.
Oh, we all knew. If you've been paying attention to Project 2025, if you've been paying attention to the big beautiful bill and all of that stuff, this shouldn't really be a surprise.
Tell me though, for you, what has been your biggest attachment to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting? Are those warm fuzzies in your belly or in your mind from Sesame Street? You know, I know you're a lifelong NPR fan, but tell me about the origins of the attachment to CPB. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, public television for all of us. I mean, we were just, I've talked about this a little bit in a couple of videos that I've done recently.
Yeah.
Just my history, biography, all of that kind of thing. I have 6 brothers and sisters. I'm from a family of 9 altogether. And we didn't have a lot of money growing up. And people talk about, Nickelodeon and, the Disney Channel and all this stuff. Well, we didn't have the money normally to have Nickelodeon or the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
We had PBS. And if it was on all day, every day. And we were homeschooled kids too, by the way. Mm-hmm. So half the time that, I hate to say it, but that was our education. Like they were using that to supplement our education.
So your preschool teacher just died. Let's just make it plain. Let's make it plain.
But our preschool teacher didn't have to die.
You had preschool, but yeah, that's what it feels like to you. Your person that is responsible for the foundation of your literacy.
Yeah.
Is gone.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Sesame Street way too long. I watched Mr. Rogers way too long. And, seeing people comment, reading Rainbow and so many other programs, Electric Company and Nova and Zoom. I mean, that was one of the early shows back in the day. We're going to Zoom. Mr. Rogers, people always said that my father, who I've been talking about a lot lately for some reason, Doyle Tucker, but people always said he was kind of the Black Mr. Rogers. That was his vibe.
Wow.
And we all have our deep sentimental attachments and, real life attachments to PBS, but just like I said, being homeschooled and not really having the financial means to have like cable television, which had a lot of children's programming and stuff. We weren't able to plug into all of that. PBS was it for us for the most part. It was PBS for us. So the idea that the Corporation for Public Broadcasting is now defunct, is now dead, and having done so much content on that, I reposted a video that I did on Sesame Street.
Was made
the
for
origins,
children.
how Sesame Street was made for inner city kids, and I just posted a video on that, reposted my video from a couple of years ago on that recently, and really having delved into the history of that, I'm just absolutely devastated. And I guess for me now, this is all framed around politics.
Yeah, no, it is definitely.
It's all framed around politics, and I'm just like I've lost patience with these like false equivalency people. Both parties are the same people. In the face of devastation like this, I lost patience with them a long time ago.
Yeah.
But now it's just a new level of like, WTF? What is wrong with people?
Well, I guess.
What is wrong with people?
I can't say what's wrong, but It hits me kind of in a different way because I've worked at three NPR affiliates in my
Age
work
4
life.
to 34. Hi, Paul.
And basically, like, I worry about some of my friends that are still in NPR world, honestly. Corporation for Public Broadcasting is the basis of a lot of funding for programming at all NPR stations. They have to allot a certain amount of that Corporation for Public Broadcasting funding back to NPR national programming. So it's not like automatically at every station, oh, there are going to be these massive layoffs. It doesn't exactly work like that. But what it means is that the support base of each local station is going to have to rise to that deficit. And we think about things like musicians that play non-pop music, like what we play, you know, people in the jazz community, people in the Americana community, people kind of off the beaten paths that play the roots music of this country. A lot of the stations that we're heard on are what? National public radio stations. And the licenses that these stations have to pay to BMI, to ASCAP, PROs is what we call them, performing rights organizations. Organizations where Dara and other writers like that get their royalties from. Well, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting pays a lot of those royalty fees for these individual stations. So that's another area of deep concern. Are we still going to have music on local NPR stations who can't afford to foot the bill for BMI, ASCAP, CSAC? That kind of vibe. That's very arresting. And that could impact a lot of record labels, a lot of independent artists specifically who aren't pop people. It's a shame. It really is a shame because as you've been saying for a year and a half now, this was coming if people didn't vote the right way, and they didn't. And now it's here, and now it's happening right in front of our eyes. The arts in general, as this country understands them, are being gutted if it's outside of that top 25% of, but pop art.
Yeah, I think at this point, I'm just, as I said, I'm losing patience with the people who refuse to acknowledge our part in this, our part as voters, as citizens, who refuse to acknowledge that we have had the ability to prevent all of this from the start, and have drawn these artificial lines in the sand that say because our government doesn't get everything right, that we're just going to burn down the house and just sit and watch everything dissolve into a plume of smoke. Because, oftentimes the Palestinian issue in Gaza is cited as the reason that a lot of people didn't get out and vote for a Democratic candidate this year. And what they don't like to acknowledge is that what we're looking at right now is the total destruction of Gaza. The total destruction. Famine. Famine on top of genocide. And nothing changed. Everything's gotten worse. And I don't know that I really hear very many criticisms of Trump. We're still adjudicating and still rehashing what the Democrats should have done. And it's so much easier for some of these people, these far left people. It's the horseshoe theory, and it's real. These people are just as bad, as far as I'm concerned. They are just as bad as the MAGA folks. Wow. Because they have no ability to do anything but just rehash these same talking points again and again, regardless of the realities. Yeah, they're quiet right now. Ray is on. Hi, Ray. Regardless of the realities that we're faced with, it's like you put, I did a video a while back just saying, hey, for you, both parties are the same people. We're watching the arts in all kinds of ways. We're seeing, DEI being torn down. We're seeing exhibits from the Smithsonian being taken down. Yeah. Now they're taking down references to Trump even being impeached. Yeah. All kinds of crazy things. We won't need to run down a list. We're watching all this stuff happen in real time. But you can it does not matter the reality that you hit these people with. they're just still going to stick to these talking points, coulda, shoulda, woulda about Gaza. And it's like, well, can we talk about what's happening in Gaza right now? Like, most of these people have no ability to be at all self-reflective of what their role is. They want to point back to the Democrats and say, well, they shouldn't be so weak and they shouldn't do this. And they didn't present enough of a contrast and they didn't have the right position on Gaza. It's like, yeah, but what did you do? What have you done? So you are the oppositional force to the Democrats, and you had a job to do to try to hold the Democrats to account, to try to hold their feet to the fire so that you could achieve a certain end, I assume. That's your goal. You wanted to achieve an end. The Democrats have an end that they want to achieve, and I'm in no way shaking the pom-poms for Democrats. I barely consider myself one of them. It's just a position of advantage to vote from, and you do what you got to do. I don't care that much about being called a Democrat. But, you had a goal, I assume, some sort of an end goal in mind as someone who is a part of the resistance. You are part of the revolutionary force that's going to, make Democrats or create another party, whatever it is your goal is. You had a goal, I assume, and to end the genocide in Palestine. The genocide's not over. And as a matter of fact, it's escalated into mass starvation and likely famine. And we also don't have Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and many PBS stations across the United States are now being threatened and are probably going under.
Yeah.
And what do you have to say? Well, Democrats, they just should have. Fill in the blank. This is their fault.
Yeah.
No strategy, no plan. You haven't achieved anything, but you don't hold yourself accountable. That's the problem that I have with a lot of these people.
Accountability.
Yeah. You want to hold the Democrats to account for what they should have done. Yeah. You had the ability to present some alternative pathway, some alternative conversation, some alternative approach to problem solving. Yet you do not hold yourself in any way responsible for the outcome of your own decision making around this, meaning these people who are super, lefties. Tankies, they call them. You hold yourself not responsible in any way, shape, or form for now the realities that we're having to live with. It's the problem I have with these people. It's it's childish.
It's the danger of being too erudite or scholarly, or there's no such thing as
right. You're sitting around reading leftist theory and books
and thinking that everyone else is too
or should be
exactly. And when that doesn't compute, you just sit down rather than teach people and bring them along. You criticize those folks that don't have your knowledge and do nothing.
I mean, at this point, the only thing that they're accomplishing is just making themselves look like fools and causing a lot of people to turn against them. They just get in people's comment section and they troll. They troll, and they're not accomplishing anything really at all. And they don't really care because their goal is destruction. And what we're seeing all around us right now is destruction. And I'm devastated at this. It is hard. It is difficult to express and to put in words. And I know a lot of people are right there with me. It is difficult to express and to put in words. This feels it's all the crazy things we've been dealing with in the last almost 8 months. 8 months.
It's been a long
almost 8 months.
I put that in your comments.
All the devastation we've been dealing with. Of all the devastation, this feels like the biggest blow to me for some reason, because it is the deepest attack on the arts. And just having studied, you all know I studied German history in college. That was my major. And watching our country take such a similar path to what happened to them over there and learning nothing from it. And watching a lot of people just cheer about it, and for all their various reasons. MAGA may be cheering about it because they think NPR was too woke. They're cheering about it. But then a leftist is cheering about it because, stick it to the Democrats. We'll stick it to the Democrats. They weren't, left enough. So, they're ineffective and milquetoast, and so I don't care about them. It's the very definition of cutting off your nose to spite your face. It's foolish behavior, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It just you get to a point where it doesn't. That it does not matter. It would not matter what happened right now.
Man,
they're going to continue to toe their party line. They're going to continue to justify their behavior. It's a total lack of self-reflection. It's a total lack of ability to believe one thing on Monday, get new information on Tuesday, and believe another thing on Wednesday. Like I cannot take you seriously if you're literally speaking in the same way and hitting the same talking points that you were a year ago when we were not dealing with this reality, and you still think we're fighting the same fight. You don't have the ability to see that you've burned your own house down. Or you don't have the ability to say, you know what, there's probably not a lot of strategy in that, and I don't even know why. I don't even know why I felt like that was the best road. At least if the Democrats had been in charge, even if things hadn't improved in Gaza, at least we'd be in a position to fight. And we're not in a position to fight anymore.
No, we're just bending over, taking it. And to be honest, I don't have very much hope. I don't, because the anger that you have, which is justified, is being met with a lack of ability to listen and reason from the folks that you criticize. And so apparently, we may not be on the same team anymore. And what's it going to take to be able to defeat or unseat all these Republican people who are seemingly on the same page, even if they are only complicit? I really don't understand a way out. I'm being honest. I don't have that level of political savvy. I don't have that level of naivete to believe now that, as you've stated, the super leftists and the people left of center have that much in common anymore, because people like you, Dara, who are willing to actually go to the voting booth, who are willing to actually protest, who are willing to actually educate and inform people, are met with this new brand of apathy, or I told you so. And I just don't, I see more enemies. I see more enemies. And I know that's not what you wanted to hear. But
not what
I
wanted to hear.
I don't really see how we get out of this.
No, and I'm at that point now where it's not like, if you read any parts of Project 2025 and you understood that these people were serious, then we shouldn't just now be realizing that there's a problem. This should not be new information to us. We should not just now be thinking, oh my God, I smell smoke. We should have been mentally preparing for this for a while now. And this, and I've heard a lot of people talk about, I'm gonna get out of the country, I'm leaving. We actually know a few people who have either left the country, or who are thinking of leaving, or getting ready and making serious plans to leave.
Yeah.
This right here, like I said, feels like the greatest blow to me, because it cuts at the heart of just art and intellectualism.
Access to education.
Yeah, education and
Access
just
to
intellectual
critical
thought, critical thought, art. That is what PBS and NPR and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting represent to me and to so many other people. And it's an affront to all of that. There is a major streak of anti-intellectualism that is running across this country in more ways than one. It's not just coming from the right. Unfortunately.
Right.
But this happening, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting announcing that they are shutting down, feels to me like we are now in a scenario where I don't know that this feels like my country anymore. I don't know that I guess I'm becoming one of those people that's just like, and I'm not saying I'm getting up and turning tail and leaving immediately right now, but will I be here in 10 years? Is the long game to live out the rest of my life here? Because even if Democrats came in and took over in 4 years, 3.5 years, whatever.
A lot of rubble to wade through.
Yeah, it's like
a lot of building to do. And with the trends of 8 years, maybe 12 years, and then the other party takes over again, I don't think we can sustain that waffling wassailing back and forth between giving them, 8 years, and now we're upset. Now it goes back to Republicans who basically, as they've shown us, continue to do the damage that they started back in 2016. Because this is a new level of like go along and apathy. What did Kamala Harris say with Stephen Colbert? She was predicting a lot of the dismantling of the system, but she was not prepared for the level of capitulation and compliance.
That is. I mean, I didn't watch her whole interview, but that right there, I heard, and when she said that,
resonated.
It's exactly the place that I have been. Even watching the way that these universities have responded and these journalistic outlets, CBS.
Yeah.
CBS is like, that's
Not no more.
We watch CBS. I record CBS Sunday Morning, DVR that every week. That is like, that's my heart right there. And to know that they have now agreed to bring on an ombudsman, which is basically just a censor, They paid the fine to Trump, and agreed to fire Colbert. And now they are bringing on a censor that's basically going to be there, who has a direct line to the Trump White House, and everything has to go basically through them. Their programming, their messaging, their whatever, because that's what that lawsuit that they filed against 60 Minutes was all about, is that they felt that they had preferentially edited a Kamala Harris interview or something and sued them for it. CBS could have easily won that lawsuit, but they didn't. They basically paid a bribe to the Trump administration because their parent, their parent company is trying to do a merger, which they just got approved with Skydance. Paramount and Skydance were trying to merge. And the Trump administration just approved the merger. So this is what all of this stuff with CBS is about. CBS has been like the stalwart, It has been, they have
Since
been
Edward Murrow in the 40s, 50s, right?
They are the oldest network that we have, and they have been one of the few outlets that has been consistently telling the truth. And now that's kind of over. So you got what was the university that just paid a fine, $15 million, Columbia, I think.
Columbia University,
just paid some kind of a fine to them, bribe. And now, as we're hearing, I think they paid a bigger fine than that, actually. Now Harvard supposedly is setting aside something like $500 million to be able to pay the Trump administration for whatever fines and fees that they're charging them for, supposedly upholding anti-Semitism. I'm not saying anti-Semitism is not a problem, but paying all these fees and fines, and then agreeing to, a whole set of demands that the Trump administration has. The capitulation on the part of these major organizations, academic institutions, journalistic institutions, and now, him taking over the Kennedy Center and building this huge ballroom on the side of the White House, just massive, I'm sure, gaudy, freaking Mar-a-Lago ballroom that he's going to build on the White House. It's you're turning this country into freaking Soul Plane.
Oh, well said. Well said. And the white version, hate me if you want.
I mean, into a trailer park.
Yeah.
With gold columns.
Yeah.
With marble columns. So does that feel like a place that I want to be and want to continue to wear myself out fighting for the rest of my life?
Not today.
I don't know. It just, I guess if I were in a place that it was being overtaken by the complete ratchetness that Trump and his ilk bring. And if I felt like, well, there's a really organized resistance that is there and is like getting their act together, and we're getting on the same page, and we're ready to fight, and we're locked arm in arm. But, just to see the disarray that the left is in right now is really disappointing too, and is very concerning, because it's like they can't even get their messaging together. And people who are on the left, who supposedly all agree, or at least agree that what we're seeing now is not good, they're fighting each other. The left is fighting each other. And I don't know if there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know. I mean, there is eventually. But, I think maybe this... No. I'm just saying, for my nieces and nephews, Gen Z, can they pull it around? Can they turn it around? Can they, can it be better in 20 years? Probably. But, I'm getting to that age, and you're getting to, a lot of us Gen Xers are getting to that age where we're like, man,
Yeah.
the bulk of our working careers is over. In 20 years, we're going to be the old people. We're going to be the boomers.
Yeah.
And, is that the way I want to spend the last, good 20-year stretch of my working life? Is here wrestling and wrangling with this.
Yeah. I get it.
I think our lives and our peace is worth more than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, Papa Pitt, you run for office. You do something. What are you doing? You get up off your duff. You scolding everybody else. Get up. What you doing? Tell me about it. What's your plan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not sacrificing my wife to public office, so you can go and unfollow her and hate on me if you want, but I'm not sacrificing my wife for public office. That's for some of y'all who got us in this mess to begin with. I'll vote for you, but no. George Floyd died so that we could actually have the real conversation about civility. Don't get me started. Because most of y'all don't understand that when racial politics are in vogue, that's when you want to talk about it. And when it's not in the news cycle anymore, you go back to being just as racist and compliant as you always were. And then asking somebody else who has an informed opinion to go save you. We ain't saving you no more.
Ornette's upset about it.
Yeah.
You want to say hi to the people, Ornette? Say hi. Say meow meow. Say this is disgusting. Even I, as a cat, could do better than this. Yeah, I don't consider myself, honestly, the run for office type. I don't think everybody's got to do everything. I think we all have to know what our role is. I believe in roles. We all have a role to play, and I think we can get in a lot of trouble trying to pretend that it's like you can't
be an activist and a politician
right,
at the same time.
Right, and oftentimes those things don't go together. I think I was talking to Fred Hammond the other day. You probably saw that I put up an interview, or at least I talked about the interview that I did that I did with Fred Hammond. And one thing I appreciate about him is that he said towards the beginning of that interview, he was like, I'm not a preacher. And a lot of those guys, who do gospel music and who are choir leaders, choir directors, and stuff, they know they have a call in their life. They're supposed to, deliver the word, preach the word. A lot of them end up being preachers. And I'm not going to say who's called and who's not, but I appreciate someone like him backing up and saying, you know what, that's not my role. That's not my gifting, actually. I am a singer. I'm a writer. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of things. He writes plays. He does, produces blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But he knows he's not a preacher.
Yeah.
And I think more people have to be able to draw those lines and be like, okay, this is like people in the comments constantly asking, well, what are the Democrats doing? And they're so blah, 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 blah. Being a Democrat and being a politician and being in elected office, there are certain things that are your job to do, certain things that aren't your job to do. Martin Luther King Jr. was not a politician.
No, he wasn't.
The most of our great, Malcolm X was not a politician. Most of our great activists and community organizers and people who got things accomplished and got people out in the streets and, mobilized people, those were not politicians. It's not always the answer to run for office. Those are bureaucrats. Those are legislators. And if you don't vote them in, by the way, why are we looking at Democrats and asking what they're doing when they're not even in control?
They're not in power. You're kicking somebody.
You didn't vote for them.
When you're down. And that's even lower than low. Someone's not in power.
They don't have the president. They don't have the executive. They don't have the legislative branch. And now Trump's got the courts.
Yeah.
He even installed one of his personal lawyers, a crooked, dirty lawyer, I'm trying to remember this dude's name, into one of the highest courts in the land, the federal court. He's working slowly but surely to put in loyalists into the court system so that even when he does things that are illegal, he can find people to rule in his favor. Mm-hmm. And y'all are sitting back, not y'all, I'm preaching to the choir, I'm sure, because most of the people listening to us are, have the sense enough to know not to let this stuff happen.
Vote, yeah.
But a lot of these left-leaning people who claim to know better are sitting back and letting this happen and acting like we are not in the danger that we are. It's unfathomable. I can't get my head around it. I am so deeply disgusted at the people who claim to know better and have no ability to do better, apparently. I'm at a place of such disgust. I mean, on the level that I was probably after the election. Yeah. And Trump is not a politician. Yeah. So to watch him make the mess that he's making because he thinks because he's got a bunch of money and heads up a bunch of family companies, he's not even a real freaking CEO. He just owns, has enough money to create his own corporations. He would never be actually appointed as a CEO of any legitimate corporation.
Right.
But, for him to think that he has the ability to come in and be a politician, that's half the problem with this country. You think because you have money and you have status and you can talk and get people to agree with you, that means you're supposed to be in charge of like government.
Right.
No, it often doesn't. This Papa Pitt guy's talking about Bobby. I don't know who Bobby Hutton is.
Don't say his name. Don't say anything. He's got his own. They got their own idea about that, and they're wrong because they don't understand Malcolm X, and they sure as hell don't understand Martin Luther King. So
He's talking about Angela Davis and stuff running for office, and some of the Black Panthers and stuff. Some of them ran for office. If you feel like if you feel like that's your goal, you are an activist, and you feel like it's your job to become a legislator, and to get up there and. Spend your life fighting for the people in,
that's still
government
that is still
offices.
A different sect
great.
Of
that's what you're supposed to do. That's not me.
But they are not the same. They're not the same. Those movements weren't the same. They weren't. They just happened to be in the same decade, loosely. Anyway.
Paul is straightening somebody out.
I feel like in general, there's a small solace in talking from a perspective of little to no hope, because it could inspire someone to change their mind. It could inspire someone to get active who's not. It could reinvigorate, people like you and I, to continue doing what we can to, resist the ignorance of it all. But no, we see how long this year is. Get ready for longer years. This is going to feel like 8 years, maybe 12 before all this is done. And you can't keep waiting on some act of non-nature to remove anyone from anything. Somehow you have to continue to resist in small ways. And a lot of us ain't really willing to go to jail, to be honest about it. A lot of us, we didn't grow up in that period that our parents and our grandparents, went through. So there's that.
We are. I understand the politics of like local communities and stuff, and that's true to a degree. But we are becoming a much more global society. Let's not act like that isn't real. Corporation for Public Broadcasting being taken down, it affects local communities. It affects the ability of local PBS stations to operate. So to be like, we're minimizing national politics, we're minimizing the importance of paying attention to what Trump is doing because, it's just all about local politics. Well, the national stuff affects the local stuff. Let's not act like it doesn't. Let's not act like it doesn't. And for me to put up, like I said, a post just saying I'm put out with these people who claim, who are creating this false equivalency between Republicans and Democrats, even in a moment like this when Corporation for Public Broadcasting is being taken down and still they're just hammering away at the same tired talking points. That honestly is the thing even more than the CPB being defunded. Listening to people continue to create these false equivalencies, that is more debilitating, psychologically debilitating than any of this. Because if I felt like we were just, there were forces who were like, yeah, we're going to fight the good fight. All right, here we go. We got the folks and we're mobilized and we're ready. But we're still playing with Tonka toys. What do they call it? Tinker toys.
Yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough.
We still, like my mother said, we still don't believe fat meat's greasy. We still think, as you said, we're flipping through some freaking manual on like leftist theory or something.
Yeah.
And we're still arguing about this stupid stuff while Palestinians continue to die, while they starve in front of us.
Yeah.
And we burn down our own country pretending that it was all about saving theirs.
Yeah.
And still don't hold our leaders responsible. The people who are actually in charge now are not being held responsible for any of it. What was it all for? Mm-hmm. What was it all for? I just want to grab some of these people and just shake them, smack them around. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with your mind?
Yeah, we're in an upside down world, and I encourage you and people like you who are logical to their core to understand we're not dealing with logic. We're not dealing with, a linear form. This is crazy town. This is people.
Yeah, and it's making me feel crazy is what I'm saying. It's making me feel like there's something wrong with me because it doesn't make any sense to me. It's Alice in Wonderland.
Don't do that.
It's upside down world.
Go back to your, it's not the right analogy, but go back to your situation of you can make the best impact you can for the people who listen to what you say. And you can keep talking about it. You can keep spreading the message. You can keep lifting up people who are trying to do the right thing legislatively. You have to rest in that because there may not be an award at the end of the tunnel. Not saying that you're going for an award, but we may not be able to change this thing in our lifetime. That's what I'm saying. But that doesn't mean we stop encouraging folks and voting for folks and giving our money to folks who are trying to right the ship. It's just like reading that book, Native Son. It taught me a lot about existentialism. Yeah, man, you're going to be consumed by the end result, but it's up to you to fight like the Dickens to keep it off of you. And in that spirit, that's how you might be able to inspire someone coming behind you, because it really ain't going to change in our lifetime. Maybe.
Well, like I said, I have faith in Gen Z.
Yeah.
I have faith in their ability to right this ship. Mm-hmm. I have faith, but I just don't. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen in a time that will benefit us very much. Mm-hmm. I think it's it's for the next generation to make it right. It's for us to keep fighting. We cannot stop fighting.
Yeah.
In the here and now.
Yeah.
But I think we have given away any ability to see the dream, as it were, realized.
I think that's a good place to land.
Yeah, and I hate to come on with such a negative message, but somebody wrote me this morning and was kind of asking me where I felt all of this was going, and I'm just like, maybe I'll feel differently in a week, but just having been hit with this news yesterday or this morning or whatever, having been hit with this news, it is debilitating. Mm-hmm. It is debilitating, and so I'll find some hope somewhere. Mm-hmm. Somehow, maybe I'll get back into songwriting and figure out how to express some hope in that way. But right now, I'm in mourning. I'm just grieving.
It's all right.
To be honest about it.
It's all right.
And I appreciate you all being here to kind of talk through it with us. I'll have more to say on it going forward.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say for now. And thanks, Greg, for kind of helping to talk this through with me.
Thanks for calling on me.
Yeah, and like I said, I plan to put out some more content, just sharing more of my thoughts about all of this really soon. Thank you, Ray, and thank you, Paul. Thank you, all Upside Down, and even Papa Pitt. He's contributing in his own way. We appreciate you all for being on. And sometimes it just helps to sit with people in the, in the grief a little bit. So we appreciate you all being here. And we'll see you again soon, I'm sure.